Welcome back to the Saber-Tooth Beaver channel. Today we're going to be talking about French cleats again. This is part 3. We're going to be showing you 10 more French cleat ideas, and let's get started. And any workbench is incomplete without having a torch on it. And I found this really cool map gas torch holder, and just put a cleat on that to give us a good solid place to store it, so the kids can't get into your map gas when they sneak into your garage. And if you're working with flame in your garage, or even if you're not, something could catch fire, anything electronic or your battery charger. So I have one of these on the ceiling, but I also put one over my workbench. It's a smoke detector, but it's also a CO2 detector. And I just put a French cleat on that. And that's kind of nice because if it's over the bench and you accidentally burn something, or sometimes if you're drilling a lot and that gets hot, that can set off a smoke detector. So this is just nice because then you can take it and blow it off real quick and keep that from beeping at you. And after your smoke detector goes off to let you know there is a fire, it's good to know where the fire extinguishers are. So I made this French cleat to hold the fire extinguisher sign, and that goes over where I store the fire extinguishers, so that if I'm not the one looking for it, someone else can find it in a hurry. And when you're looking for the fire extinguisher, right below that sign will be this box. I actually have 2 of them, one on each side of the shop, just in case there's a fire. Hopefully someone can find a fire extinguisher, put it out. But this is just a box with a high French cleat on it. And it's built kind of sturdy, and the weight's really low on it. And I found that to hold on the wall very well. So this little French cleat here, this system is called Ram X. It's just the letter X, or a ram mount. And it's really nice because it creates 2 ball joints, and you can screw one side onto your French cleat and either hook a camera to this, or this is a GoPro, and you can put it whatever angle you want to film. So you can French cleat that right onto the wall above what you're working on and have that videoing, or across the room and just put it whatever height you need it to be at. But that comes in really handy. This system is just wonderful for cameras, and they use them on kayaks and things for other types of things, GPSs and stuff like that. But that's really a great system. And anything you can hook a hook to can become a French cleat. In this case, I've got this magnet on a stick, and you hook it on the cleat, and that hangs it up for easy access for any time you need to get screws off the ground. And just like with a hook, any French cleat that you put a screw on, you can hook something onto it this way. And in this case, I have this hanging over the fire extinguisher by the door. The reason for this is, in an emergency, you can turn off your gas and your water. And so if there's an earthquake, it makes it easy to grab this. You don't have to go through the toolbox and find a crescent wrench or anything to do that with. So that comes in real handy. And I just wanted this easy access with the pictures to help people know what this can be used for. And again, anything with the French cleat can be hung on the wall. And so in this case, we have an occasional bug problem. So I got one of these bug assault guns. Place to store the special salt for it. That makes it real easy to get to in case there's a fly in the shop that we want to get rid of. And this is way easier to hit them with than a fly swatter is. So built this one, just basically a couple pieces of wood notched out in the right spots to hold that in place. And this is just a shelf to hold the salt. So that came in real handy, and it's on there pretty solid. Alright, so this is another French cleat on a French cleat with the first aid sign on front of this. This is my major first aid kit, and the little one I take out with me when we play airsoft. So basically the same stuff in here. And also I'm part of our community emergency response team. So this is just a 2-way radio. So this is kind of all the emergency supplies that we might need in the event of somebody getting cut in the shop or somebody hurt. And this is just full of really trauma equipment and stuff like that to stop the bleeding before we can get to a hospital or whatnot. So technically this isn't a French cleat because I took this top system here and we bolted the whole thing to the wall because I made it so long. So because this holds so many tools I thought it was going to be too heavy between that and what I was going to put on top of it. So in this case, this could be a French cleat if you made it a little bit smaller. But just so you're aware, these gaps are 1.5 inches wide, and that holds almost every tool that DeWalt makes. There's some that don't work, but in my case, I was using the impact guns fit, the drills fit, the impact drivers fit. This is an angled driver, it fits. This is their oscillating tool piece that can be a sander or a cutter. Those fit. Their grinder fits. The jigsaw fits. And so do their different lights. Other than the one with a tip like this doesn't have a neck to hook into, so that one just gets shoved into the hole. But just so you understand this system, these are 1.5 inches wide, and they're back about 6.5 inches. So I cut 1.5 inch hole at the back of each slot, and then made it 1.5 inches wide, and cut those out before I hooked that to the rest of this. Each of these sections is screwed together into here, and I don't remember the box size, but these are 4 3/4 by about 4 inches, and that's big enough for any battery up to a 5 amp hour will fit in that slot, and you could probably even get a 6 in there. But there's plenty of room in there for the tool with its battery of different sizes, and that's why I went this direction. I just thought it would look more uniform with all the batteries shoved up in there. And overall, it's 12.5 inches deep. It doesn't have to be that deep necessarily, but you know, some of the longer tools, if you have a bit on them, it's nice to have that extra space so the bit doesn't dig into whatever's behind it. And because I did it this way, there's not a lot of room to pull tools out of your French cleats. So you give up a cleat above it on tools like that have to be brought out. But if you leave a little bit of space, you can still get into everything here. And I put things I don't use as often behind the tools here, which is pretty practicable for my workbench. But this is the way I have it set up for what I like to do. It's been a great setup so far. I started doing this over quarantine. So it's been a long process because I can only have the weekends to build it, but slowly but surely we've gotten quite a few French cleat tools built and the system all set up. So my son says I have a French cleat addiction, which is probably true. I've been building these for months now. I'm pretty happy with how these turned out. If you have some ideas on how I can improve on these and maybe redo a few of them, I'd love to hear them in the comment section, and we maybe build a few more, but I'm kind of at the point now where I'm ready to move on and build some other projects. The main tools that I use are on my bench now. I like the bench is completely clear other than my daily drink. So leave some comments on what you would change. Hope you'll like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll get on to building some more projects.